What's up, everybody? MegaRuler here, FSI, DFS, EuroLeague basketball coach. Just got done breaking down the slates and putting together our sheet that we give to our subs, and I show it to you here today. And it's a big one on Draftkings today. It's Friday Frenzy, $15 contest, 2K top prize, large GPP. So 5 games, starts at noon. Thank you, Draftkings, for actually including all the games on this slate. Last year, they would have cut off the first game at noon because there's like a 2-hour gap between the rest of them. You have 2 more at 2 o'clock, at 2:45, and at 3 p.m. These are all Eastern Standard Time. So did really well yesterday. Our core was on fire, except for Gooditis let us down a little bit. And if you had a game and hit value, I think I finished like 7th in the top GPP, which had a good day overall. But if he had hit value, probably could have taken it down. So looking for some good plays today, and we're going to share it with you and hopefully help you make some money. It's winter time. We know credit card bills due from Christmas. A lot of people maybe invested in some of those stocks that flew up and then crashed back down again. So we're going to give you some opportunity to make some money today, free of charge here. And I'd look at the comments in here. I'll actually probably put a link to the sheet later on so you can test it out and see what we're doing here at FSI DFS, and check out all our other free videos that we have here. Subscribe to our channel, give us a like. We keep on growing, and you're watching this and liking these videos and recommending them to friends and subscribing to our channel. It just helps us continue to provide this free content for you. So let's go, and here's how the sheet's laid out. I always give you a recommendation of what the play should be. See these cash games. If it's green, it's ready to go. Blue ones would be only if they start, because maybe there's an injury situation or something. Yellow ones are GPP plays, good for tournaments. Not they have some ceiling, some upside, but not a floor for cash. V are value plays. I look at 5,500 or below for where I set the value line. And if it's an orange one, it's more of a GPP one. If it's a green one, it's a cash value play. And if it's blue, it's they're better if they start. And of course, we have our out for fades and our zeros for people who we know are out. I also give you who the projected starter is going to be. R if they're a major role player, or low R if they're a minor role player. And if you see that they're in yellow, then we know that actually Jordan should be R here because we're not sure if he's starting up, but we'll get to that. And yellow means that they're questionable. We give you what my projection is, look through all the box scores. I have an algorithm that figures out each player, and then I manually adjust it to match kind of what their current form is and what the current situation is. So it's not just like the computer generates everything and then you just have it, but we actually put a lot of thought into it, and give you what their X value is. I usually look for 2.5 for cash. That's kind of where my line is for that. I know some people look a little bit higher. Not like the NBA, though. The NBA, you're looking for much higher X value, but they play 48-minute games. These guys only play 40-minute games if you're new to it. And then what their DK average is and their salary, who their opponent is. I like throwing in the line, too, because definitely makes a difference. A game with a 153 total, you're not going to have as many possessions and opportunities as this one with a 164 total. Then all my stats I take into consideration pace. So if you look at like what the stats are, they're all adjusted to pace. So they take into consideration how many possessions this team had this season for these stats. It's not just a pure stat line. And I find those to be a little bit more accurate. And then we look at if it's a pace up or down game for them too, because if they're going to get more possessions, then they're going to be usually probably higher than their average. If they're going to get less possessions against their opponent potentially, it's going to bring them down a little bit. Okay, so first game up is Bayern and CSKA. So let's change the filter for those two teams. We'll do that, and then we'll sort it. Okay, let's look at Bayern first. They have a bunch of guys out. It looks like Dedovic, Sichko, Lukic, he's probably the biggest one, Mazi, Rudin. So a lot of minor guys out. Looks like the starters are probably going to be Reynolds, No, actually, Reynolds doesn't start. Let's see here. Baldwin, Babb, Zipster, Seeley, and Rad. Reynolds and Baldwin is definitely the top 2 plays. CSKA is a decent defensive team, but with some of the injuries they have, they're not as stout. So I definitely think that these guys could be decent plays, close to 3x on each one of them. Babb and Zipster have the potential. They're GPP plays. Just had probably his best game of the season last time out. I think that was kind of an outlier. I think they were playing Kimke, so it's not like they're these stats are going to be the apples to apples. It's playing a tougher team here in a different situation. So I still think he can probably get to value whether he starts or not, but I don't foresee him. Plus his price has gone way up, so I don't think he's going to be the smash play he was. Rado, if you're looking for like a value play, I think he's decent if he starts there. Going down to CSK, definitely with the guards completely struggled with James out. The front court picked up the slack. Lutinov, who we've had was our fire play, definitely came through, and Shagadella has definitely picked it up. He had a run where he was kind of average, but now without Clyburn there and without James there, he's definitely found his form. I have Hackett and Hilliard recommended. I think Hilliard was just kind of being rested. I think when he comes back in this one, I think he'll be better, but all the guards, even Strengthless with getting the start, really struggled. So he could be a value play. Kurbanov and Voigtman, they're okay, but their stats are average. They seldom hit value, but they don't completely have a snowflake game. So not really interested in there. Looking at this game, with these guys out, probably going to be these top 2 guys who I focus on, and maybe sprinkle in some Hackett and Hilliard here and there, but those guys are the main priority. Okay, so then we have to wait all the way till 2 o'clock to the next game. And we get a very good up-pace matchup with Real Madrid and Berlin. 160 total is definitely decent, 6-point game. So let's sort them here. Looking at Berlin first, they still have some questions with Giffey and Brenneck. If Giffey does play, he's getting close to returning. I think he'll have okay, but I don't think he's really a priority. When people come back from injury, it's hard to play them until you see them a couple rounds to see how they're back in the rotation, if they're back in form. Like Chevette came back after the back injury, and he hit value and did really good in that game, but he was like shooting breaks and air balls, and just it's timing and muscle memory getting that all back. So, but speaking of people coming back from injury, Sigma and Silva have, and they have rounded back into form. So I think these guys will get to value in a little bit more, but I don't see them like completely smashing in this matchup. It's a tough one for actually. Real Madrid has some dudes on the front court. I mean, some very good defenders there. Tavares and Tompkins, and they can throw out Gruba, and it's just a deep, talented team. So it's a super team of Spanish players. Lammers has come back. He's done okay. He's a good player, but again, this matchup, I think he struggles, so he's a GPP. Some of these other guys, if Giffey's still out, might capitalize on that. Molo's been decent recently. Eriksson, they're almost to the point now where they have like 4 guards that all can play. And so I don't think Granger and Silva, even though he's like really cheap, he was much more expensive than that at other points of the season. So definitely some playable guys within these 3, but definitely not priorities for me. Unless you want to like stack this game on one side and run it back. The one thing I do look up about Berlin is like their minutes. They definitely, if you see minutes averages in the 20s, and that's definitely really good for EuroLeague basketball. So looking over here, I think the one play that you really got to lock into if he starts is Alcine. I was so skeptical on him. I was so high on him at the beginning of the year. He was a point guard. He was, as soon as they lost Campazzo, he was supposed to take over. He's the heir apparent, but he struggled. Couldn't break 10 DK points. Had one breakout game when he got at the start, and I think either Kara or Lapro sat out and he did really well, but then he was back to his like below 10. But he finally had a breakout game last one. He had a decent game. Even with Lou back, I think Alcine is definitely kind of be like one of the value plays for the slate that you kind of might have to lock in if he's starting. It's the second game, so you have plenty of room to pivot off of him if he's not starting or the situation doesn't look good. Berlin is a fast, high-paced matchup, so it should be definitely, they'll be giving up points there. Tavares probably has the best matchup also on the board, so at starting your builds, you might want to start with Tavares and Alcine, and then fill in some other plays from there. Tompkins, if he starts, is good. Here's the thing: this is again a deep team. It is a double week. Also, they've played once already this week. They probably have a domestic game coming up, so a lot of games. And what you'll see with these deep Spanish teams, if you follow soccer, it's kind of like you'll see like a weird lineup come out. So you expect what the potential starters are supposed to be, and then when the actual starters come out, you're like scratching your head, like, who are these guys? And the trouble is between like Gruba, who's had some starts and had really good games, with some other starts and just had like 10 or 12 DK points, which just doesn't get you there. Between Fernandez and Calcer and Tyus and Taylor, any of them could have a great day. Deck had a great game last time out. He was the guy that had the hot hand and was GPP because like his price has gone up and you just never know. So you could get lucky with these guys. Again, if they start, I think it's better to play them, but anyone could get the hot hand. So, if you don't see Tavares starting, then I probably wouldn't play him. If it's like Ruba and Tompkins, it probably means that they're giving them a little bit of a rest. Some time off. It seems like he took it pretty easy in the last game. I don't even think he had like 20 DK points, but they really didn't need him. So if you look at it, this might be, they're kind of resting him up for this game, but the matchup is outstanding. So Tavares definitely if he starts, Tompkins if he starts, Lou, whether he starts or not, without Carroll, without Lupro, and there's very thin in guard. Obaldi, really disappointed last time, but again, I don't think they needed him, but he's another guy that's actually a forward that can play some of the two. If he gets the start of the two, I definitely like him. He's a good facilitator too. They had Taylor in last time, but again, you might see some rotations. So again, Tavares, Alcine are guys that I'm really strongly looking at, and I might look at a couple other players from the game. I like the total, and I definitely love the matchup for them. So again, GPP, if you want to stack like 4 or 5 of them, run it back with, I can't stack 4 or 5 of them, but if you want to stack 4 and run one back with one guy, then definitely something to look at. Okay, so next game up also is at 2 o'clock. It's going to be Panathinaikos and Valencia. Okay, let's sort here. Do it the other way. Okay, so Panathinaikos, lots of question marks here. They've had iPapa and GPapa both out. Coach says hoping to get some minutes out of them, which probably means that they might start, they might play, they're probably limited. So K-Mitt here has been a really good player in the meantime, but his price has like gone so high that even though I have him as a cash play, with the other two possibly playing, I don't know if I really want to touch him on this 5-game slate. So it's not a priority. Nedovic still, like he's been really good, but I think if more players start to come back, his production might go down a little bit. Valencia is a decent matchup for him. Augusti, I would really keep an eye on him because if those two are not starting, if I'm talking about GPapa and iPapa here, he has just been absolutely smashing it. So if he gets a start, he is definitely a great play at 6,000 there, and definitely somebody that I would look at. But again, it's the second game, so there's plenty of room to flex off if he's part of your plan A. There's many plan Bs that we can go to there. Ventilius benefited also with these two being out. Shane Mack has done decent with the starting spot. Howard St. Rue has been struggling with a back injury, so if he's still limited or he's questionable right now, if he's out, that definitely helps Mac. White has had a couple smash games, but he really hasn't put it together here. Marcus Foster has done well also, but again, I'd play him if some of the front court and seeing Rue are out. The rest of the guys I'm really not interested in. Okay, another smash play for today. Prepperlick. The problem with this Valencia guard is they have so many guys that they all like eat into each other's productions. But today you have Vivas and Strasser definitely already out. So that just leaves you pretty much Sand Van Rossum, Hermanson, Prepperlick, and Martin Kufik here. And he got the start with Van Rossum, but really didn't do much. I think he only had like 5 or 6 DK points. Still working his way back from injury. So low price, definitely some potential like speculation and GPP play. But I really like Prepperlick. If Prepperlick gets the start, definitely. But I think he's close to 3 or 4x with this matchup and with guys out. Van Rossum I like too. Hermanson's been solid also with these guys out. So the order I'd go with would be Prepperlick, Van Rossum, Hermanson. Clinic has done okay. I think that 2.87x might be a little high. He might just get there. I think the key to this is Dubovik. He's coming back from injury. He played domestically. He only played like a couple minutes off the bench. He didn't have much run last time, but he did get in. If he starts, then this completely changes the complexity of the team. I would keep him as a GPP and wait and see on that one. I'd kind of avoid the whole situation. But if you see him not starting in, you see Toby starting. Toby has had like 3 or 4 straight games in the 20s, which is really good for 81. He's got a really good floor. And Labriere also has been doing well with Dubovik being kind of hurt, and it's Clinic also. So guards on this team are definite because of the 2 guys out. Forwards, you have to wait to see if Dubovik is in, if he is out again, or if he is still on the bench, then definitely forwards come and play in a decent matchup. Okay, so now we come to the 245 game, which is Asphalt and Zvezda. Now, here's the problem, is DK did not have the Zvezda game on their slate last time. They played EFES on Tuesday, but it was 11 a.m. game, and they started the slate at noon. So we did not see what happened, and I really want to kind of start with them here. Johnny O'Brien only played like maybe 4 minutes and then disappeared off the bench, and no injury designation, looked perfectly healthy, didn't play the rest of the game. Jordan Lloyd got hurt early on and walked off to the locker room under his own power, but did not return. Not sure if he practiced or not, so he's questionable. Then Kuzmic, we have no idea why he's not playing. These guys, I think, are sick. So there's some questions here. We don't have any answers. So if Johnny O'Brien is out, then that definitely is going to make Dadovic a great play. I have him at 3x, almost 20 points. And the other one to really look at closely is I kind of toned down his projection because he's new. He really hasn't hit that much play in EuroLeague, but if he gets a start in Anoko, if JOB is definitely out, he definitely could be a very good play. I think of like some of the other new guys who've come in, like Gerdic from Fenerbahce, who played a couple games to start out and only had like a few DK points and then completely exploded. So again, speculation. If he's starting, today could be the day. Someone to look at that could have a smash game here. Asphalt is a fairly tough matchup defensively, but I think the opportunity would definitely be there. I'm JK. Also, he's 100 above where I'd look for a value play. I think at the 5-game slate you can find other plays, but if he fits your build, or I think you can play him. If JOB is out, he might definitely benefit too. And then Rad is also been good with lots of injuries. So if the guards are out, if Lloyd does not play, I think Dobrik becomes a very, very strong play. Right now I have him at almost 276x. He probably could go up more from there with the opportunity, and Walden has been strong too. So if Lloyd is out, there's some plays there. But the only thing is I think these might be more contrarian plays. Like in cash, I'd look definitely like Alcine and then maybe taking like a stud at the guard or proper lick that we already talked about. The total of this game is so low, and Asphalt has actually been like number one by far in like limiting 3-pointers from guards. So even though there might be some opportunity here, it might be more of like a GPP play than like looking at cash. Looking at Asphalt, Lighty and Cole have definitely been the plays recently, and William Howard has been decent off the bench. Yab is questionable. I'm not sure if he's playing or not. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Walton Jr. is out. He got injured. Diat picked up the start, but didn't really play great. So I think there's like Hayes has been decent, could probably get the value. Stratzel, Lacombe. There are plays here that you could sprinkle in, but there's nothing I really see as a priority. Even Lighty and Cole, I don't feel like super great with the total of this game. So again, some options, but not priorities. Okay, let's go to our final game, which is going to be Zalgiris and Baskonia. That one's going to start at 3 p.m. Henry and Palermo have been really good. They've been in the high 20s to 30s for DK points. I mean, they're both over 10K. So if they're definitely players that you can play. If you really want to be contrarian, I think they're solid players with floor and upside that you can make a late game hammer line and start with these two and then build, with some of the earlier games with them. Falls up 3x. He's been a little erratic. Peters, it's Jakiri is projected to start, but it could be Fall, it could be Peters, double week rotation. We don't know. The only thing that I do really like about this team too is just look at the minutes that they play: 27, 29, 27, 25. Vildoza is questionable. If he's out, then that definitely boosts the stock of a lot of the other guys here. Actually, he starts, but he doesn't really do much, so he's be a fade. Dragic is kind of fallen away. None of the rest of these guys really excite me too much because, like I said, the concentration of minutes, if you look at here, they're only getting like 5 here, but these guys that are in the 20s, like, so there's going to be a lot of opening if Vildoza doesn't play. It's going to open up for usually what they'll do is they'll go like one guard and maybe like well, he's Sedex here is listed as a forward, but he plays as probably like the second guard. So I don't think it's really gonna like make Kirkus explode or anything like that. Probably just Henry will see like a ton of minutes, like maybe up into like 30, and then they'll just play with like 4 forwards for that. So definitely some interest here. Keep an eye on Vildoza's status, but Henry and Palermo, and then whoever else starters interested. And then Zalgiris, they've been solid, and I've usually run one line where I've just played these 4 guys, maybe Rubit also because he's been solid off the bench. Their minutes are, this is kind of scary here because look at how like close like all the minutes are. They all seem about the same amount of time, but Zalgiris, it's a close game. The total's decent, but they're usually like a GPP stack for me. Jakubas has been okay recently. Leveckius, like, no, even if he starts, no. He just Linkus has gotten the start, but he usually gets replaced by Jakubas or one of these other guys, and they get more runs. So definitely some options there. So going back to the start with our sheet here, it's definitely sortable. So if you want to see who who's potentially going to score the most points. You can look here. If you want to see who is potentially going to have the best values, then you can go here. Some of the other things that we've built in too is, you know, what's their average like DK point per minute. You look at that. To get by all the errors of the people that aren't playing. So like, you know, Jalen Reynolds falls, but the other thing we look at too is, you know, which players have like the best floor. So I look here and see like, you know, Reynolds, Tavares, Martinez, Henry. And so those are like the safe guys that, you know, who has the potentially the highest ceiling. So, you know, some of the same guys pop there. I don't know why Lapra's in there. He's out. Can fix that later before we post it. But just again, lots of cool stuff here. So hopefully this helped you out. And again, check us out on fsidfs.com. You can sign up for the full EuroLeague package and get the core and all the notes and the help in our Discord chat. So, you know, this comes at you so fast that, you know, we're right there before lock. We're shouting out like who's in, who's out, trying to help you make any pivots, help you build your lines, answer any questions. Again, if you want to reach out with any questions or comments, you know, put them in the chat here or the comment section and the YouTube, and we'll look at them. We'll get back to you. Or you can hit me up at MegaRuler31 on Twitter. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you. I don't think there's any games early next week. I think we're back to like the Thursday, Friday, and then we have a week off. So depending on what lines of pricing and everything come out, we'll see if we can get you videos or information then. So hope everybody has a good day, good slate. Remember, if you want to get into that GPEP, get in early, because sometimes these Friday frenzies fill up pretty fast, and don't want you to miss out on an opportunity to play and cash in. So thanks for watching. Give us a like, subscribe if you haven't, and check out all the rest of the free content we have on our channel. Peace.